notice that we have a distinctive grain pattern that runs this way. Okay? It is distinctive in this. So as we do this pit cooking, this grain pattern is going to go away. We're not going to be able to see it. Okay? So if I have this brisket, I've spent 12 hours cooking it, and I'm like, oh no, which way do I cut it? Okay? Because if I cut it this way, I'm going to have beef jerky. It's going to be tough no matter what you do to it, unless you cook it into oblivion to about 215, and it's just going to fall apart. But what it is you got to know where your grain pattern is, and you got to cut against that grain pattern to get the right bite through that you're looking for in a brisket. Okay? So what I always do is I always notch the end of which way that brisket is going to tell me which way I'm going to cut that brisket once it's cooked, because again, I'm going to build up the crust on the outside of that brisket. Okay?
Basically a cheat sheet.
Yes.
Cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet.
All right.
So now I know. Now, right here, this whole fat line that swings right up through here and right down through here is going to be our separation point of our flat versus our point. Okay, and we're going to be able to utilize that on our briskets that are going to be coming out. So what we want to do is basically start trimming this brisket up a little bit, and you can save yourself a lot of money by learning how to do this. They'll charge you, it'd be $3 to $4 a pound for a trimmed brisket if you learn how to do this. Now what we're going to notice on this is nodule fat. It's hard. It's very, very hard. Unlike this other stuff, which is more of a gelatinous type fat, so it has a tendency to dissolve a lot quicker. This will not dissolve as it cooks. This will. Okay? So I'm going to trim this out of here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at this type of fat. I'm going to trim a little of this down.
I like to use a paring knife for that.
Yeah, I have a big butcher I use on these. It works. My big butcher knife. I'm making this brisket a little bit more manageable. Now, free bottle of sauce for anybody. Tell me the very end of what that's called. Had one kid get it. A kid from Salina, Kansas. Huh? A dinkle.
That's what we call a little sausage. A little dinkle. But that's just us.
That's a whole cut of meat. Mm-hmm. You also find it on prime rib.
Yep, prime rib. Okay, so what I'm going to take a look at is this back end, and this is ugly. Okay, and what I try to do is I try to keep about a 1/4 inch left on here, so I'm going to need to trim this down. Of course, sharp knives really help with this. And I try to trim this down to about a 1/4 of an inch on this back side. So, now abodes the question of fat side up, fat side down.
Fat side up.
Or fat side down.
Good guess. Okay. Spent 4 hours on this with the guys at K-State talking about fat side up, fat side down. Because I'm a fat side down guy. Okay.